All right. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another Tuesday night Principal Car broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. Hope everybody's having a great week. Get ready, 4th of July weekend coming up. It is our anniversary. I always remember that, me and Rachel's. So 24 years. So exciting. Um, let's see what else we got. Oh, DE. Let's put up that uh, the dates. There we go. August 12th through 15th. We're in Atlanta. October 21st, 24th in Atlanta. If you can come in Wednesday night and play golf with us Thursday morning. A bunch of us coming in to play golf at there it is, the GCC. It's the fourth annual the Chiro Cup. It is a blast. We have a phenomenal time. Everything's included. So you show up and just have a great time. So if you can do it, come on in. And then we do back-to-back Sarasotas because of the mask rule last year. So we assume that will be completely lifted by then, and we won't have to do anything else. So, but we did have to make up that Sarasota meeting. So we'll do January and April in Sarasota, which is not so bad. It could be a whole lot worse. Tonight we got the Northeasterner coming in, married to KK, married to a chiropractor as well, but PK is a long-term DE guy, and we're excited to have him. He's also in the ICA, working hard with that. We appreciate him coming on and doing this. Pete, take it away, man. Thanks so much for doing this.
I was wondering how you get those slideshows. I guess you plug them right off of Facebook. Good job. So thanks for having me on here. Thanks, Brian. And I kind of thought that I would start sharing with my story, not so much to talk about me, but I've noticed that I learned so much hearing other chiropractors' stories. A lot of times there are things that we have no idea. Like Jessica too gave a great talk and told her story, stuff that I knew nothing about, but it could be really inspiring. And I know all of us firmly believe that we were chosen to be chiropractors, chosen to be principal chiropractors. And I'm no different. I believe I was chosen to be a chiropractor. And so this is actually a story that I do tell patients all the time. I use it in the office. I use it at orientations whenever it comes up. And the way I usually start it is let them know that I began my chiropractic education at Rutgers College of Pharmacy. So a lot of people don't know that I actually started off in pharmacy school. And how that happened was growing up, there was a neighborhood pharmacy down the street, knew the pharmacist, and got a job there and worked there in high school. And so when I was in high school, I said, it looks like a good gig. He's got a good shop here. He lives well and don't know any better. So I said, all right, maybe I'll go to pharmacy school. So I applied to Rutgers College of Pharmacy, got accepted, and started going in and going to all the classes. And the more I went into these classes in that program, I realized, man, I really don't like this thing. And I couldn't put my finger on it. It's not that I was anti-medicine or anything like that. I'm not saying I am now. I'm just saying it was not for me. In the meantime, growing up, I had always been classically sick kid. I used to catch everything. And on top of that, sore throats, strep throat, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I always struggled with is I had problems with allergies. And I used to be allergic to all kinds of things. And they didn't know if it was dust, it was pollen, it was this or that. And the problems just got worse and worse over the years. I would I couldn't breathe. I had trouble breathing, and it got so bad that I had one of those little puffers that they gave me, a little Prevental inhaler when I had a bad season, just to kind of clear up my lungs. Innately, I did not like using that stuff, not because I just didn't like the way it felt, but I did it anyway. So I go to pharmacy school. I start learning about how these things work. And it's interesting, the very first day of pharmacy school, the dean gave this big hour-long lecture on how most drugs out there shouldn't be prescribed, how most antibiotics shouldn't be prescribed, and people are overtaking them. And I thought, wow, this is pharmacy school. They're kind of not selling their own product there. But I continued on, and seasons came through, and I got sicker and sicker. I had access to drugs. I could get them for free. But I didn't want to take them. And in fact, the more I learned about how they worked, I realized this is not good stuff. And it's not even fixing anything. It's just covering up my symptoms. So at one point, one summer, I got a job at a small pharmaceutical company in New Jersey that I don't believe it's even there anymore. It was part of a bigger Italian company. But in any instance, the CEOs, I just kind of processed paper, that kind of thing, summer job. I just got it because I was a pharmacy student. And the CEO secretary had a sister who was a chiropractor. And she would always tell me, hey, you should talk to my sister. She's a chiropractor. And I had no idea. I think I thought I knew what a chiropractor was. I said, why does she keep asking? I thought a chiropractor is somebody who like takes care of athletes with sports injuries. So I didn't really know what it was. But she kept saying, you should meet my sister. She's a chiropractor. I think she could help you. And I really didn't. It wasn't clicking. So one day I met her and I started talking to her, and I asked her about it, and she explained it to me. And the good thing is I had no bad vibes at all about it. I just really knew nothing about it. But she told me about it, and I thought it was really cool. And her office wasn't far away. So I said, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go. And I started getting adjusted, and I liked it. I liked it simply because, not because I got the big idea, simply because, hey, I felt better. My body felt better. It felt good to get adjusted. So I went in on it, and I went regularly and stuck with it. And probably about 3 months into it came my terrible season that I've had my whole life in the springtime, where I got to break out. Actually, the previous season, they wanted to start giving me steroid injections, and I refused to do that because I knew that what that does to you. So I started getting adjusted. The big season came around, and I was waiting for the shoe to drop, and the shoe never dropped. And I felt great. I adapted. I had no issues, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing. And basically, I mean, it was to me such an amazing thing that I actually switched my major. Fortunately, it was early enough in the program that it was very similar in the early 2 years as a bio major. So I switched to a bio major and ended up going to chiropractic school. Now, the reason I found out later is how this all tied in, and how did I end up so sick growing up? So growing up, my parents always told me about my birth. And they used to say, oh, when you were a baby, you had a cone-shaped head. Well, the reason I had a cone-shaped head is I was pulled out with a vacuum extractor, and I was actually a cesarean birth. And I was pulled out with a vacuum extractor. And the force was so powerful that the first week of my life, I almost died twice. So they really believed I was going to die. They had a priest come in to give me last rites, but I lived. And little did I know, I ended up tying it all later. Like that birth trauma that I had as a baby is what brought me to where I was. So then I ended up going to chiropractic school, and I went to New York Chiropractic College. Why did I go to New York Chiropractic College? Because it was close to where I lived. I lived across the river from Manhattan in New Jersey. It was close to where I lived. The chiropractor I went there, and I said, I'll go there. I applied. I got accepted. So once I got there, I still didn't really understand chiropractic because it wasn't really clearly explained to me, the principle of it. I just knew that I liked it, and it made a major life change for me. So I started sitting in on some of the classes, and once again, almost like pharmacy school, it's like it wasn't really gelling with me because it seemed like I felt like I was almost in like medical school where they were talking about treatments and therapies. It was kind of like medical physical therapy school to me. That's the vibe I got from it. But I was there. I was going to stick through it and learn more. And we had trimesters, went through the first trimester. Now, I remember at some point, a chiropractor I met had told me before I went to chiropractic school, and again, I had no idea of this, told me that when you go to school, look for this thing called DE and go. But I didn't know what it was, didn't know it. I just remembered that little phrase. So when I was in school, after the first trimester, they used to drop off these magazines. Today's Chiropractic magazine, for anybody that remembers that, they used to come from Life. Sid Williams used to put out Life, Today's Chiropractic magazine. They delivered them to our school and put them out in a box in the entryway for anybody who want to take them. And I remember looking through it, and there was a little ad this big. It says, come to the Life DE meeting in Atlanta. And it was right when we were breaking after our first trimester, and we had a gap between our first and second trimester. And I told a couple of buddies that I had met at school. I said, somebody told me to go this. You want to take a trip to Atlanta and let's check it out? Let's go to like a chiropractic thing. And they were up for it. So we all piled in my little Pontiac Sunbird, 4 guys, and we trekked down from New York to Atlanta, not knowing at all, not knowing a person there, not knowing really what to expect. We just thought, hey, it's a cool chiropractic thing and it fits during our break. So once we went down, we went to this huge room. Sigafus was on the stage. All the big speakers were on the stage, and that was it. We were cooked. That's where the light bulb clicked for me, and where my real love of chiropractic and the principle of chiropractic was born and never went away. So needless to say, I continued in New York. I don't regret going there. I think I learned to fight for myself and fight for chiropractic. I had to speak up and have that voice, because we, the 4 guys that ended up going, we were a real small voice there compared to, what we were surrounded with. But I remember Brad Roush, he was nearby. And that's the thing that I always appreciate. There was always so many great principled D chiropractors that were there, like in New York, that would take us under their wing. And Brad Roush one day told me, I used to go to his office and visit all the time. He said, go to New York, take everything they learn, pass your boards, and then take everything that you learned and stuff it into a little thimble and throw it away. And he goes, you learn chiropractic, come visit chiropractors, go to D, things like that. And I did. I got my degree, but I kept going to D as a student. As often as we could, we piled in the car and got a hotel room and piled in and went. And it, I still feel that and I know that if you look at it, every principled chiropractor out there has their roots somehow or other in D, whether they go or not, they have their roots that's where they began. So I think it's something that we need to impart and share with our future generations of chiropractors, because we're always talking about how we have to educate our patients and teach the public, and we do. I think it's just as important that we educate and build up our new generations of chiropractors, because they're the ones that are going to have to keep this thing going and keep sharing the story and telling their patients things. So I've had 7, I know a lot of you have had a lot more, but I've had 7 students of mine over the years go to chiropractic school. And the most recent grad, she just actually graduated this March. And interesting story with her is her family I'd taken care of for a long time. I started taking care of her when she was in 9th grade. Yes, I'm getting old. Next week, 27 years in practice. I've been around a while. So she started taking care of her in 9th grade. She went to college, did her undergrad, got some sort of degree, and ended up almost going to medical school. And she was in Texas. And one day her dad came in to get adjusted, and he said, hey, you think you could talk to Abby? She was talking to me. She goes, she's thinking about becoming a chiropractor. I gave her my cell. I said, you got to call me. You got to talk to me. And she did. She connected with me, but she kind of put it off a little bit. She connected with me, but didn't really do anything about it. And a while had gone past, and I was actually at DE in Sarasota one year. And she texted me and she goes, can I talk to you? When would be convenient? I want to talk to you about becoming a chiropractor. I was like, I'm at DE. You're going to talk to me this weekend. So we got on the phone. We started talking. She was already looking into it and already excited about it. Fortunately, we were there, and I put her, actually that weekend, put her in touch with Neil Cohen and Ed Cordero. They talked to her right there at DE on the phone for about an hour, and she was sold. She just graduated in March from Sherman College. Another great chiropractor coming back to Maine. But on her journey back to Maine, she got a job for a while where she had an internship in another state. She is going to come back to Maine, but I met with her the other day. She came up, we had lunch together, and she was talking about how much she's looking forward. And she was asking me questions about starting practice and all that kind of stuff. But she was getting kind of discouraged because I guess the place that she works with is not really our brand of chiropractic. They don't They don't really talk about subluxations. They don't talk about principle or philosophy or innate intelligence or even the nervous system. Really, they talk about back, neck, that kind of thing. And I think they do a lot of car accident work. There's a lot of chiropractors that work there. They don't see any kids. The head chiropractor there has children, and he says, I don't adjust my own children. So I still can't understand that, but and neither can she. So she was getting kind of discouraged hanging out in that place, but it's what she's doing until she gets out in her timeline. I don't think it's going to be too much longer. But what I found is just talking with her and sharing with her and bringing her back to like the things that, adjusting families and seeing kids and all that kind of stuff. She got excited again. Not for anything special that I said, just her connecting that, hey, that really does exist. This is not where I'm at right now, but that really does exist. And she texted me later that day how appreciative she was that that we got to meet, we got to chat, and kind of got her going again. And then she texted me the next day. She was so excited that out of the clear blue, I guess they get their own new patients there. She had 4 new patients come into her back to back that afternoon, and had her busiest new patient afternoon yet. So just sometimes changing the vibe. So we have to encourage our new future generations to kind of build them up for no other reason. To me, for no other reason that's how I became a chiropractor. That's why I'm where I'm at today, is because people took me under their wing for no other reason but to serve chiropractic and promote chiropractic and promote the future generations and take care of our own. Too many of our profession eat their young. So we got to keep promoting them and building them up and helping them along for the sake of giving. And so one other little piece I wanted to tie with that. So one thing she said, she was so excited to, be adjusting kids once she gets going on her own, because she's not getting to do that. And she says, I remember in your office, there's pictures of you guys adjusting babies, and we see them in the office, and we see pictures of you adjusting babies after birth. There's a lot of pictures in the office where we've gone to the hospitals to adjust babies. Parents that can you come check my kid? Some of them were sick, some of them were not. And she said, she had just said, I was inspired, like when I came to your office, I came in, you were open, you were seeing people, I got adjusted, and I was looking at the pictures of the kids getting adjusted in the hospitals. And interestingly, I said, yeah, but since COVID, I haven't been in a hospital since before COVID. So this is Thursday when we had lunch. And on Friday, I ended up going to the hospital for the first time in well over a year to adjust a baby. And so I shared that with her too. Now, this baby is a new baby for a couple that I take care of. She actually was a former CA of ours. And so she had the baby, and she's small framed, and I guess the baby got a little stuck in there and had a little bit of rough go on the birth process. And the baby was actually born 3 weeks earlier than they expected. So that's why I was like, you had a baby? I didn't realize. Her husband came in and said she had the baby, but the baby's, something's not right with the baby. The baby wasn't feeding. And then finally when she fed, she threw up. And then first time she threw up and it was lime green. And then the second time she fed, she threw up and it was avocado green. So they're talking to the nurses and the doctors like, yeah, no, it's not. That's not supposed to be like that. That means something's probably, they were suspecting that there was some sort of obstruction in the baby's intestine. And they said, baby's got to stay. We got to watch and monitor. We're not sure if we're going to have to do a surgery, explore, unplug. We really don't know yet. So he came down and asked, will you come check the baby? I said, of course I'm going to come check the baby. So I went on Friday. Went up to Maine Medical Center. They said they're only going to allow one person in at a time. Well, only one was in there, the baby, the mom, the dad, and me. So I went in. They didn't say anything, so I just went in. And I started checking the baby, and it's always fun. Usually when you go to the hospital and check babies or check moms or check people, nurses are usually pretty intrigued. They're like, oh, cool, can I watch? I want to see this. Ooh, chiropractic, that's cool. This one nurse was very nervous. It's like, what are you doing with that baby? I said, I'm checking the baby. I just try to keep it simple. And she goes, oh, okay. I said, yeah, no, it's fine. She wanted me to come. So she was a little dumbfounded, didn't say anything, and just turned around and left. So we checked the baby. Clearly the baby was out on the left side in the atlas, and with just a little adjustment, that atlas shifted. I just knew it shifted. And as soon as she did, the baby hadn't been turning her head to the right. So once that atlas cleared, she turned her head to the right and went. And I said, "Mama, that means she wants to eat. So how long does she have to stay in here?" And they said, until that baby feeds on her own for 48 hours without throwing up, and everything's good for 48 hours. Until then, she can't leave. So this was Friday. Now I know we're not supposed to have expectations of the outcome. Our Sigafusa always taught us, no expectation of the outcome. Do not be attached to the outcome. And I get it, but at the same time, we have that expectancy that we know. Like Michael Cayley used to teach, you know that you know that you know, and that if we clear that out on a little baby, some good stuff is going to happen. And I just knew that baby's coming home in 48 hours. So trying to not have an expectation or attachment, but I said, okay, I'll see you in the office when you come back, or I'll come back and check if you need, but we'll be in touch. I purposely waited 2 days until Sunday, and I texted them. And I said, how's your little girl doing? And they took maybe about 45 minutes to reply. They said, actually, we're on the ride home. It's been 48 hours since you left. She's been feeding, no throwing up, pooping. Everything looks perfect. They said, baby, go home. So I was like, fantastic. And I actually saw them today. They brought in the baby again into the office today and got, the outcome's always good. See, something's good's going to happen. So you can't help but have some sort of expectation. We all know that we're not attached to the outcome, but you just know that some good stuff is going to happen. But they came in, they're great. And I share that, just like everybody else it's not about us. It's just sharing those stories. We all need to hear it and share it, because that's what keeps us going after, 7 years, 27 years, 37 years, 47 years, 57 years. There comes a point, you don't do it for a living anymore. You just do it like, this is what I do. This is what drives us. This is chiropractic. It's our life. It's not a job. It's not a job. It's our life. And I know you all know that. And that's why I hang out with all of you people, hang out with like-minded principled chiropractors. And in these days and since the last year, more than ever, got to keep out the negative and just hang out with all the solid people that will keep us going in the right direction. So that's all I got. So I love and appreciate all of you. I appreciate the chance to share. And I always enjoy hearing everybody else's shares and everybody else's stories. So thanks. Love you.
There we go, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In there, so we appreciate you, man. I hope everybody has an awesome week. Katrina, thank you for doing this. Katrina's in the middle of moving houses, so we appreciate her being able to get on and do this. PK, thanks so much. Middle of summer, we know. And we will talk to everybody next week. Have a kick-ass week. Happy 4th of July. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See ya.
Yeah.